Should real estate agents, companies, or realtors charge inspection fees when a client desires to buy a property? Now, these are part of the issues that came up when I posted a video about the fact that a lot of realtors are wasting company fuel on inspection because they are taking prospects and clients to places they are not meant to take them for inspection, or on the other hand, when they are not even supposed to go for inspection at all. And yeah, that video went a little bit viral, and of course, it's because it's a pain point in the real estate sector. As a developer, you're looking at your bottom line. At the end of the day, you are seeing a lot of millions going into fuels, logistics, and all of that, but it's not really converting to the way that you desire. One of the major comments that came up in that video is the fact that we should charge inspection fees. In other words, agents, realtors should charge inspection fees for people who want to buy properties, and that will help to reduce the waste of fuel. And honestly, I'm not sure I agree, and I'm going to show you or tell you why. First, what is the essence of inspection fees? Right now, there is the agent and there's the prospect. If you look at it from the angle of the agent, he is trying to ensure that first, you don't waste his time, and then on the other hand, particularly for those who are into rentals, right? So first, you don't waste his time. Secondly, he wants to make sure that you're a serious client and you're committed. In other words, he tells you to bring 10K, right, or 15K for some locations, depending on the type of property and all of that. So for him, he's fine if you're able to pay that 15K. Because at the end of the day, if you decide not to buy the property of 10 million naira or rent a property of 10 million naira per annum, he's fine with the 15K because he didn't waste his fuel. To the prospect, it's a different conversation entirely, especially for those who are into buying and selling of properties. For rentals, I think it's sort of acceptable or accepted into our norm and practice in the Nigerian real estate sector. But when you want to buy a property of 10 million naira, and then the realtor decides that he is going to charge you 10,000 or 20,000 for inspection, whereas the commission that he or she is supposed to earn from this deal, so assuming it is 5%, we're looking at 500K. If it is 10%, we're looking at 1 million naira. So to the agent, he wants to use this 10K or 20K to ensure that you are serious. In other words, you will not waste his time. But to the prospect, he is seeing from a different perspective. And to him, you are saying that this 10 or 20K is more important than the 500K to 1 million that you are likely to earn if I close this deal. So to the agent, it's a matter of intent. To the prospect, it's a matter of perception. And if you are not careful, you are going to lose this 500K to 1 million naira because of this 10K or 20K. One thing I have taken time to teach my realtors and those who go through our academy is the fact that there is a concept of that I refer to as a 90-10 rule. This is my 90-10 rule of closing, and it says that most prospects come with 10% interest to buy a property and 90% doubt, indifference, fear, with a little bit of should I or should I not transfer the money? Should I put the money in my account and all of that? All of that is mixed up into this 90%. Now, for the deal to be able to successfully close, you must ensure that you are increasing this 10% and raising it to as high as 60 to 80%, or for some clients as much as 100% for them to be able to close. And while achieving this automatically, you are reducing this 90% doubt, eliminating the fear, removing the indifference, removing the doubt. And at the end of the day, if you are able to drastically reduce this down and increase this automatically, you will be able to close. Unfortunately, what many realtors or agents forget or now ignore in these rules is that the moment you put a fee before the closing, you are making the process of sale more difficult. You are creating more doubt, because I don't know why you want to sell a 10 million, 20 million naira property and you are insisting on a 10K or 20K inspection fee. I don't want to use the word that is coming to my mind, but it says a whole lot. And to the client, that is a major barrier, and that can as well lead to you losing that particular transaction. Your goal is to make sure that the process is as seamless as possible, not make it even more difficult by making them look like they are buying the process leading to the closing. Your priority must remain moving as seamlessly as possible to the point of closing and letting the money drop. That way you earn your good commission while also ensuring that the client is satisfied. Because at the end of the day, the reason why everything is happening is because of the client and his interest. This is a major problem in the real estate sector, and the solution around this requires an extensive conversation. But of course, you can find all of that in my book titled Sell Real Estate Consistently. But for the purpose of this particular video, let us summarize it and then find the solution to the problem. First, understand what you are gaining versus what you are losing. Now, let's say you charge 10,000 naira, multiply by, let's say you do 200 inspections or 20 inspections in a month, right? That automatically would give you around 200,000 naira. The question is, does this 200,000 naira truly deal with your operational costs in terms of buying fuel? All right, of course, let's not even talk about repairing the car, right? However, one successful deal can give you as high as 1 million, 2 million, and above. So the question now is, where do you create the balance? The solution is not in charging inspection fees. The solution is pre-qualifying your client. Because at the end of the day, the person who wants to waste your time will still pay that 10K and waste that time. And if the priority is not inspection fee but to close, then have a conversation that pre-qualifies the client to determine whether this person is interested or not. And there are multiple questions you need to ask your client to be able to determine that, and all of that is in this book. To summarize this, let me read out something important for you on page 83 of my book. 5 types of lead categorization for effective qualification. Number 1, the lead doesn't know so much about real estate. Every time that clients or prospects reach out to you, they fall into either one of these 5 categories. And what you do is dependent on how the deal moves further to the point of closing or losing the deal. Now, the first question again is, the lead doesn't know so much about real estate. You don't take this person for inspection immediately. B, the lead is interested but not presently capable. This person has no business going for inspection except proven otherwise. C, the lead is capable but needs a push. This is the person that you take for inspection. And of course, a lot of other conversation must be had. D, the lead is capable, but the product doesn't fit his or her need or desire. Of course, for this kind of person, you really have to have further conversation to know the next steps. And E, the lead is capable, committed, and ready to invest. This is the person that you prioritize for inspection. There are different categories. There are questions you have to ask to determine and put all of this together. And of course, this is just 5 lines out of the entire chapter, and there's a full conversation around pre-qualifying your clients. The goal of closing is to ensure that you make your process seamless, not create barriers. So the solution is in pre-qualifying, creating systems that help you to pre-qualify to the point of closing, not creating barriers that further reduce the interest of the person, because at the end of the day, you will be shooting yourself in the leg. Except if your goal of coming into real estate is to be charging inspection fees. If that is not the goal, then focus on pre-qualification through having the conversations, not charging inspection fees. And as a final point beyond qualification, if you want to truly sell real estate consistently, you must pay attention to generating quality leads. This is critical if you desire at any level to be able to sell consistently, because if you have consistent quality leads in your pipeline of sales, it will help you to pre-qualify properly, so that when you close one deal in a week, it covers for the 5 inspections that you have done that you may consider as a waste. For example, you have spent 300K on inspection in a month and you closed a 5 million naira deal, or you closed 3 deals that give you 5 million naira. Automatically it covers, because this is profitable. But the only way it can be profitable is if you pay attention to the consistency of your sales by paying attention to the consistency of generating quality leads. Now, at the end of the day, you can choose to be professional, not ask the guy for any inspection fees. Also do your pre-qualification professionally, and the guy will still not be able, or choose not to buy the property, and that is absolutely okay. That is why you need enough leads as much as possible. Of course, there's also the trust establishment zone part where the guy moves in, even though you have done a good job here. And this is a conversation for another day, but the point here is that you need a lot of persons on your pipeline so that if one doesn't close, the other one will close. I've told you a story of how I had a client who had done inspection. I expected that the deal was going to close, but the guy never closed until 2 years later. Even though I'm a consistent closer myself, I can't close every lead that comes my way, and that is why it is sales. So pay attention to the quantity of your leads as well as their quality. Qualify them properly, and then you will be able to close and then remain profitable while selling consistently.